Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Tavor 7. This is a 308 rifle built by IWI. It is a bullpup design. I've done a few changes to this. I did change the grip module. Factory grip module was this. I didn't like that because like when I grabbed a hold of it sometimes, I was right there on the trigger. And that's something I didn't want to have to practice or train out of, so I went ahead and put a standard pistol grip on it. I do like that a lot better. I also put a Surefire Scout Light, and I put a Vortex Viper. Yeah, the Vortex Viper PST Gen 2 1 through 6 on it. And I like it so far. It does pretty good. It makes the gun heavy. I will say this thing is extremely heavy. When we loaded this up and weighed it, it was almost 14 pounds in this configuration with a 20 round mag in it. So it's got some heft, but it also helps absorb a lot of the recoil. The recoil impulse on this is not what you would think for a 308. It's pretty light. Now the Tavor 7 does have an adjustable gas system on it. Up here on the front of the handguard, you see this hole? You can take a 308 round, put it in there, and you can turn it, and it has four settings on there. The first setting is normal, then you have an adverse setting for if it's really dirty or dry. Then you have a suppress setting and you have off. You can shoot these like a bolt gun. If you got a suppressor on there and you shoot a subsonic round and you don't want the action to cycle, it won't cycle in the off position. Now I do want to get a can and put on here to find out if the point of impact changes, having all the gas coming out of the barrel instead of it being used to cycle the action, because I'm guessing it's going to be a point of impact change. And if anybody out there has experience with that, let me know in the comments, because that's something I've kind of wondered for a while. The trigger on this is about 5 pounds. I've checked it with a Wheeler trigger pull gauge, and it's not a I'll show you guys. This thing is, you can lock it back like an HK, do the HK slap. I got this set up for left hand. You can see there's nothing, not a mag in it. There's not a round in the chamber. And if you want to, when you got it locked back, you can smack it down. But show you the trigger here. You see it. Got a little bit of take up, and then turn the safety off. It's got a little bit of take up on it, and it breaks. Find my bearings here, and reset a little bit, and then she breaks again. So it's not a bad trigger. It's about 5 pounds. This also has 4 sling mounts on it. It's got a sling mount back here in the back, and it's got one that mirrors it on the other side, and it's got another one up here, and it mirrors it the same on the other side. It's a quick disconnect, and it comes with 2 QD swivels in the package. Now the gun doesn't come with very much. It comes with the manual, a lock, the QD swivels, and the gun. There's not much. I was going to do an unboxing video on this, but it would have been the most boring unboxing because it was just a gun in a box. The mag release on this is up here on the front, similar to an AR, but it is fully ambi, which is something I love about this. It's got a selector switch here for the safety. It's on both sides. Now when you get this, it has a larger safety switch on the left side of the gun. Since this is set up for left hand, I switched the safety selectors because this little ball hanging off the bottom of it was catching my trigger finger like this when I was shooting it, and under recoil it was wanting to turn the safety on. So having this on this side doesn't even get close to it. This gun is built like a literal tank. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed with this when I took it apart. I can't take it apart and show you how it works because of YouTube's new policies, and I don't want to violate those and get a strike. But I will say this thing is built very robust. To take one of these apart, all you need is a 308 bullet, and you can press this up here. You push that backwards, and that pin pops out, and you can pull your bolt carrier out. The muzzle device on this does a really good job at keeping the front end down also, and it's not a like locked down tight. like you have an AR with a crush washer. This has an opposing nut, so it's basically got a lock nut on it, a jam nut. You unlock it, and you can put 2 wrenches on there. It's got flats here on the muzzle brake. Knock that loose, you can put something else on there that you would rather have other than this, but it does a pretty good job at keeping the front end down, but it's a little bit loud. But then again, it's a 16.5-inch barrel and it's 308, so I mean, you get what you get. The ejection port on this could be on the left or the right side. I have changed this over to be a left-hand eject, and this is the first gun I ever shot with left-hand eject. And as a left-handed shooter, this is a game changer for me, because I'm always having brass shoot in front of my face, hitting me in the face, hitting me in the chest. I'm getting powder, blowback, gas, whatnot comes out of the ejection port, and I'm right there next to it. But with this, it's blowing everything that way, which, man, I'm telling you, if you're a left-handed shooter, this is probably one of the best 308 rifles you're going to get. I know the Desert Tech has a pretty good reputation also, and I looked into those, but I just have wanted the Tavor for a long time, so I bought this. It's got a full Picatinny rail across the top of it. Up here, runs from front to back. That is metal. Now underneath the handguard, which I'm not going to show you how to take off because of new YouTube policy. It's got a Picatinny rail on the bottom of it where you can put a foregrip or a flashlight or whatnot. With the flashlight attachment for this, I used a scout light, and you can see where it's just mounted to the top of the Picatinny rail underneath the scope. And it is not touching the scope, because I know someone's going to say, man, your light's touching your scope, it's going to make your scope off. It's not touching. You can get something around it on both sides. I had a vertical foregrip on this for a minute, and I do prefer to shoot this without the vertical foregrip, with just the standard plastic grip that comes with it. And even the plastic that this is made out of seems like it's really tough. It's a really hard polymer that doesn't seem brittle like most hard polymers feel like. I think this gun should last a very, very long time. Now when you look in the back side of it here, it's got really thick rails that run all the way down for the bolt to ride in. Because I know a lot of times you'll see like a CZ Scorpion or something like that, and it has a bolt that rides inside of a plastic frame. Well, this actually has metal on the inside of it that the bolt slides back and forth on, so it's not plastic on metal wearing that plastic down. Here's the bolt. It's very similar to like a standard PCC. It's kind of backwards of what an AK would be. But the rear takedown pin runs through this right here, through that hole, and that's what holds this in place, and then your bolts actually cycles back and forth. This has a gas piston in it instead of being direct impingement. It has the gas piston up in here. There's the inside. You can see it's got those metal rails that the bolt runs on. That's what it looks like with the barn door open on the back side of it. Now, one thing I did notice when I put this new grip on, I got the grip from IWI, ordered it from them directly. It is a different color. I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up. This is flat dark earth. That's almost UPS brown. That's a huge difference in color, but I really don't care. It's not that big of a deal to me. Some people may be pissed off about it because they got to have their guns be perfect. My shit gets scratches on it, and stuff doesn't match, and I'm like, whatever. But they have these black panels you can take off, and I put one of the panels on there. I actually put both the panels on it, and they didn't line up just right, and there was the ridge here was very noticeable, and I didn't really care for that, so I put the flat dark earth panels back on it. And like I say, it's not a big deal for me, and the color being different is not a deal breaker, but you may not like it. That's up to you. And if you're concerned about getting a flat dark earth grip module and it not being the right color, go with black. You can also run that handguard out a little bit if you want your hand out a little bit farther. Oh yeah, and the charge handle can be changed from left to right also. It's really easy to change it out. You can just use a tip of a bullet to take this off, because when I got it, it was on this side. And like I say, this gun is 100% ambidextrous. It ejects on the left side. Everything is set up for a right or a left-handed person. And I've never seen a gun set up this nice for a left-handed shooter. But if you got any questions about this, drop them in the comments. And if you have a Tavor 7 and any experience with it, and you know any quirks about it that I didn't bring up because I've only shot 125, maybe 150 rounds through it so far, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and let's take back our Second Amendment.